Good morning, everyone. I am Christine Schulte with the Connecticut Main Street Center, here with our Field Services Director, Carl Rosa. And today we are going to be introducing our new annual assessment tool. So, Carl, why don't you tell us what exactly is the purpose of this new assessment tool? Why was it created?
Hi, Christine. Thank you for that. Well, first of all, as a benefit for your membership, the purpose of the annual assessment is to help Connecticut Main Street members identify areas of strengths and weaknesses in their downtown districts. So it is our hope that through this assessment, Connecticut Main Street Center can pinpoint and recommend next steps based on the findings. Also, we hope that it's going to provide a benchmark metric that we can measure year over year to track progress within your downtown districts.
And so tell us a little bit about the assessment tool itself. What is sort of the methodology and the magic behind the assessment tool that makes it work?
Sure. So the methodology basically is primarily based on the 4 points of Main Street, which would be economic vitality, design, promotion, and organization. And it's also looking through the prism of the 6 components that we believe Connecticut Main Street Center make up a healthy and vibrant downtown. Those would be placemaking, economic vitality, stewardship, inclusiveness, sustainability, and connectivity. There's 82 different data points or questions that we go through in the assessment. And we touch upon many, many aspects of not only how your downtown program is managed, but also the actual physical characteristics within your downtown or village center, and also things like how you're promoting it, the marketability, if you're taking inventories of your buildings and your businesses and things of that nature. So it's very detailed and comprehensive. It took us approximately 4 months or so to kind of put this document together, but we feel that it is the ultimate comprehensive tool that's going to really give you a very good picture of the existing situation and how you manage your downtown, and will help you moving forward, identifying strategies and goals from there.
So while you've been talking, I just called it up.
Yes.
So like we like to say that the 6 core components, that's sort of the what of a Main Street, that's all the different factors that you need to cultivate. And the 4-point approach is the how, it's the strategies for how you do that cultivation. And so now when you do this assessment with a community, the first step is to go out to the community, right? With this checklist of the 82 different areas that you're looking at and measuring?
Yes. So this is kind of like my worksheet. And I sit down with the point person, the person of contact for each one of our downtown members. And we start going through the different data points according to the 4 points of Main Street. So on this particular sheet, we're looking at, for example, under the category of economic vitality, the first item to cover would be, do you have or are you keeping a building inventory of all the buildings within your downtown district or your area of focus? And then we identify elements within that question that we would hope, if you are keeping inventory, you are including things like, for example, do you have the contact information for the building owners, their email addresses? Do you know the address? Do you know if the building is for sale or for lease? What is the condition of the building? These are the elements that we've established that should be part of the inventory of buildings that you are keeping for your downtown. And then we give you a numerical grade according to your answer or according to the situation within your downtown. You can either get a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4. Usually the 4 category is for downtown programs that are, well advanced. And so that represents either meets expectations or is a high performing answer. 3 is meets expectations, 2 is needs improvement, and 1 means you might not have a building inventory, you need something to work on in that regard. So there's no right or wrong answer to whatever it is. This is just a snapshot of existing conditions for that particular element that we're asking about. And it's the same numerical breakdown per data point, per question in the entire assessment tool. I also have a section in there to add some comments as we go along, depending on what the circumstances are of what I'm talking about wherever I'm visiting.
Okay, so what I'm hearing, just to recap, is that basically you'll go out to the community, you will meet with your point of contact, which is generally like either the person from the town or the downtown management program. You will observe these things in person and perhaps go right on a walking tour to observe them in like real life. And then you have this checklist of 80 different points that you go over with them, and everybody's scored on a range of like 1 to 4.
Correct.
That
Correct.
Okay. And then what happens after that?
So after we're done with the entire document, with the entire assessment tool of all the data points that we're going to talk about and ask about, I go back to the office and I manually input them into our matrix template, which will then generate the overall percentage score. Now, a couple of things about the generation of, well, let's take a look. I think you can put that up. I think you can put up the template that I input the data in, so we can show everyone what it looks like. It kind of mirrors. Yeah, let's look at the template if you have that document. If you don't, we can go right over to the score. But the input that I put into that document pretty much mirrors the questions. So this is the actual worksheet, but so I take what I'm manually marking up on this worksheet, I put it into a matrix, and it spits out a score, and it also will generate recommendations and resources that you can refer to for addressing those. If you get a 1 or a 2 per data point on that overall assessment tool, it's pretty much going to automatically generate recommendations on things you need to address. And it'll break it down according to either needs improvement or needs attention. So what we're looking at here really is one page of the scoring template that gets generated. And this is really just a summary of what a grade could look like, a sample downtown score. We're going to give you a score based on how you're measuring up to the 4 points of economic vitality, design, promotion, and organization. So all of those data point questions that I've reviewed with the downtown district will be broken down according to the 4 points. You're also going to get an individual score according to how you stack up to the 6 components of the Vibrant Main Street, as you can see there. And then again, if you're going to get a 1 or a 2 on any of those categories, you're going to get some recommendations from us as to how you can address those, whether they need attention or not. But this score is also going to sort out the answers according to the status of your program. And that means fundamental Main Street management priorities, intermediate Main Street management priorities, and advanced Main Street management priorities. For example, anything that falls in the fundamental category are things you should pretty much get to right away. Those are the basics and the fundamentals of a Main Street program. If we've identified any deficiencies or areas that need attention or improvement that are fundamental aspects of your program, you should pretty much prioritize those and get to those right away. If you're a more advanced downtown management program, business improvement district, or longstanding Main Street program, you may be in the intermediate category as well. There'll be items there that from the intermediate category that you probably need to get to, but they might not be as high priority as anything that falls in the fundamentals category. And of course, there might be some aspects of the assessment tool, some data points that really get addressed to more advanced programs. Again, they may not necessarily be top priorities at the time, but they are definitely things that you may, as a Main Street or a downtown program, want to consider addressing sooner than later. So the great thing about this tool, Christine, is that it kind of sorts out the answers and it kind of plans a roadmap for your strategic planning for your program on the types of elements and items you should address sooner than later, or things that you should ultimately get to, but are not necessarily urgent.
Yeah, I love this because it really does let you know how you're doing overall, and then
Yes,
start to specify where you should really be focusing your efforts. And to your point, like on the score here, it tells you like you might be doing most things really well, but there are a couple areas that, to your point, are fundamental and should be taken care of before you move on to like the more advanced work. Um,
correct, correct.
so
So
um,
so I want to move on to the next thing, Christine, because I think I know what you're going to ask me here.
I think you do.
I think once we get to a downtown district's overall score, okay, I take that score and I generate a results letter that I send to that downtown program. And in that letter, there are the actual scores, the percentage scores of the 4 points and the 6 components.
Mhm.
And then also in the letter is our recommendations that were generated automatically, basically, by the program as to the things that you should address or you may want to address first. And again, it's broken down according to needs attention or needs improvement and categories such as that. And I also put into that results letter actual resources,
Mhm.
Connecticut Main Street Center resources that you could refer to help you address those areas that need improvement. So it's not just us giving you a score and saying, here, this is what you need to do. We're actually offering solutions and resources to help you address that.
Yeah.
So once I've generated this letter and I send it to the downtown program, I'll follow up with a phone call and discuss these results and those points with my contact person. And then the plan from there is to follow up 90 days later and see how they're doing.
Mhm.
It's very comprehensive. It's very detailed. The actual assessment tool itself and my visit to that community takes about 2.5 to 3 hours. And that could include, part of that time could include a walking tour to actually physically see the elements in your downtown. But overall, it takes that amount of time. And again, it's a very comprehensive tool, but we're very excited about it because a lot of it will give some really good direction to our member programs, specifically if they're planning their strategic plan for the year. And
Mhm.
it'll give them guidance. It'll help them. A lot of our downtown managers and directors gives them information that they could report back to their board of directors with as to the direction of their program and how it's going. This is why they belong to the Connecticut Main Street Center. It's a direct benefit for them.
I love that because, to your point, like it can give them a really tangible way to show the impact of their work, and that can not only help with going back to their fundraisers, their funders, and whoever, and saying this is the value of our work. You can see where we are making a difference. But to your point, it really gives them a way to target their efforts so they know what's working well, what they should keep doing or maybe do more of, and then other things that maybe aren't working. Now they have a way to evidence to demonstrate that, and they can say, you know what, we gave it a go, but it's not working. We'll focus over here on what is working. Or it helps them create a plan of like, we really need to focus on this thing this year. Let's figure out how we're going to do that.
Yeah, and what I think is probably going to result is even the most mature, longstanding program may get into some elements that they hadn't even thought about or hadn't thought about in a long time. It gets detailed, Christine. I mean, we talk about design elements on your main street, things like the conditions of your sidewalk. Are there bike lanes? We get into how is your program being managed? Things like, putting a good board of directors together, and are you interfacing with your board of directors and your volunteers? It gets into things like, how are you promoting your downtown? And are you putting together any type of, positioning statements or branding for your downtown? Are you interfacing with your merchants? Do they clearly understand, the information that you're putting out there for them to improve? Things like that. I mean, it's really getting into details on how to manage your district. What are the physical conditions and elements? And it's comprehensive and takes all aspects of downtown revitalization into consideration.
Yeah.
We did this not only with a lot of the resources that we, Connecticut Main Street Center, generated, but we also did this with a lot of guidance and information and standards by Main Street America as well. So it was put together in that way. And I would say for next steps, Christine, looking forward to the future, to our Main Street Connecticut Main Street members, expect a call from me, and I'll be scheduling a time when I can come and visit with you and we can go through the assessment process.
Okay, so members should know, you will be reaching out to them. They don't have to reach out to you.
Yes,
You'll
unless
call
they
them.
want to, if they're really eager to do that, Christine, and they want to reach out to me, absolutely. But my plan is to reach out to them and get on the calendar, and we're gonna get going with this process.
So I will actually right now share your information in case anybody has any questions. They can email you, they can call you. And of course, they can always go to our website to find your information or information on our professional affiliates. If there's an area that is identified in the assessment that needs more specialized expertise, they can refer to our professional affiliates, of course. And also our other resources. You had mentioned your letter spells out specifically, like if there's a specific webinar that would be useful to them or some other tool that we have, they can find that on our website as well. So
Absolutely.
I know that we're all excited about this tool. We think it's fantastic. I was just thinking, we didn't even talk about how, once again, when they go back to the town or their board, I think having these data points really helps show and demonstrate that the work of downtown management, it is very complex. It's not just, doing one thing. It's not just putting out the planters or doing events. It's this comprehensive approach to cultivating all these different aspects, and it's ongoing. It requires constant attention. And it's just that this assessment tool is a really great way to both show that to outsiders that may not understand that, but also for our members, give them a way to see year over year, this is the result of their efforts and what they're doing. So I know we're very excited about it. I know you and Kim, who was here before, Kim Parsons-Whitaker, and our education and training director, Crystal Lopez, you guys all spent so much time putting this together, and it's really a tremendous tool. So I'm excited that we're finally announcing it and rolling it out to our members. And
one more point, Christine, and you hit upon everything perfectly. I'm excited about it as well. One more point. The beauty of this tool is that it could be applied to any type of downtown management process or program, whether you're a Main Street program or a business improvement district, or whether you're addressing your downtown out of your economic development office. This process can be applied to any size downtown district, whether it's a village center or a larger city, or it just gets applied. And it's really a snapshot of existing situations and conditions as it is. But it really is able to let us highlight those areas of focus, again, that you may or may not want to address in the future, but it gives you a good roadmap to move forward for success, because we want to see all of our members succeed. Their success is our success. Right. That's really well said. And I think on that note, we will wrap it up. And again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to contact Carl directly. And otherwise, you will be reaching out to people to start scheduling their assessment. Great. Thank you, Christine. Thanks, Carl. Yep. Bye.